This video covers the Woocommerce settings section. It's strongly recommended that you go through this section before you add products to the website. If you have recently installed the plugin, then you will find that the latest version of the plugin actually has a walkthrough on some 5 steps to actually configure part of the shop. Some of the more intricate parts of the settings are not included in the walkthrough, it's just the basics. So before you add any products or start looking at other bits and pieces, it's recommended that you go through these tabs at the top here and work your way through. So if you go over to the WooCommerce tab and click on Settings, when you first set up the WooCommerce plugin, there is now a new guided system which talks you through how you want the website to look when you set up the plugin, with some variations. So I'm going to go through how you would change those options if you skipped the setup option during the first time. Your base location is where your shop is. You're selling to how many countries. Bearing in mind, if you're a UK seller and you sell outside of the UK, you are required by law now to pay VAT on all overseas transactions. So you may want to restrict your options to specific countries. Once you've chosen a specific country, you can put in the countries you want to sell to. So by restricting this, if a customer from America or Europe went to your website, they would not be allowed to check out because you're restricting to the UK only. That has its benefits and its non-benefits, but if you want to register for that, that's a different side of or different kettle of fish, a different ball game altogether. You have the option to enable a store-wide notice. So if you click this, this is text that goes across the website, everywhere across the website on every single page. That could be important depending on what you actually want to say, but for the most part it's not used. You set your currency and your thousand separator, your decimal point separator, and your number of decimals. Now the number of decimals is actually quite straightforward. However, if you specify 0 decimals and you put a price at $9.99 or $99.99, when it loads on the front end, it will round it up. So it will show £10 as the price on the front end of the website. However, when you hit the cart or the shopping basket and you go to the checkout, it will actually show the correct price. So if you had an item or 2 items marked at $9.99 each, and you had your decimal set to 0, the customer would see on the product page £10. They could add 2 products to their cart that would show £20. When they check out, it will charge them $19.98. Somewhat confusing, so I always leave the decimal numbers to 2. You can save changes on a per page basis here. It's a good idea, just in case you flip out and then don't change your settings somewhere else. So that's the base general. You've then got a product section where you've got multiple. You've got general, display, inventory, and downloadable. So your general is your weight and your measurements. So that's how you communicate those parts on the products throughout the website. You have product ratings. And you can restrict who can leave reviews for the products or not. And it's obviously a good idea to only allow reviews from verified owners. Why would anyone else want to leave a review? Because we're not switching tabs here, I'm not going to click Save Changes. I'm going to move on to the Display tab. At this point, when you set up WooCommerce for the first time, it asks you if you want to install the shop pages. Now these are pages that it calls shop, basket, cart, checkout, and my account. If you don't want to use those default pages, you can create your own pages. So for example, you may want your shop page to be called store or gallery or something else. So you would create that page in WordPress, and then you would be able to choose that page from a drop down from here, and it will automatically push the shop contents onto that page. Worth noting that if you actually put anything on that page, it does not display it. It overwrites that content. So the shop display page here, this is what I was mentioning in an earlier video. It's set by default to show products. Some people like to show categories and subcategories. Some people like to show both products and categories and subcategories. I prefer just to show categories. And then when you click on the category, what does it do? Does it show subcategories and products, or does it show both? Now, and the chance that you're going to be using subcategories, you want to use the show both option because it allows for mixed marketing and cross-selling. So I will set that to both. In this particular website, I don't have any subcategories, so it will just show the products. You can also show the order in which way products sell. Now, a lot of products or a lot of websites will do a default ordering by popularity. So the most popular product always shows first. 9 times out of 10, when I go on a website, I know what I'm looking for, or at least roughly, and I'll always sort by price ascending. That way I can know roughly where it's gone. You can do sort by average rating, so that once you've got feedback, it sorts by popular reviews. Sort by the most recent product published. It's entirely up to you. You can set custom ordering. That's another option that you can actually set in the menu on how to order a product. So I'm just going to leave this one set by popularity sales. At the moment there are no sales, so it will just be effectively what is a random order. You can tick this box to automatically redirect to the basket after someone's added something to cart. Once they do this, it takes them straight to the checkout effectively and minimizes your opportunity for a second product to go in the basket. So I don't use this option. Now, this is a worthwhile option to look at before you start adding products to the shop. These are how big your product images are going to show on your website. If you add products and then come back and change these, it's very difficult to actually reset the images on the product without redoing it. So it's important to actually get these sizes right before you start. Now, this 600 is reflective to this size here. If I was to change the 600 to a smaller size, I would have to pretty much re-edit this image or re-edit this product as from scratch to actually make that image appear smaller on the page. So it's a good idea to get your sizes right before you start. So your product thumbnails are this one here, and your catalog images are these ones here. So have a good think about that before you start adding products. I know this is a later video in the series. I'm going to try and edit this into the lower sections of the videos. It may mean that some of the commentary says second video, third video, when actually they are the third and fourth video. Depending on your theme for WordPress, it may already include a lightbox. If you enable the lightbox and your theme already includes a lightbox, it can switch your theme's lightbox off, and then you have no lightbox at all. So that's something you would need to test before you make your website live. If your theme doesn't have a lightbox, essentially what that does is when you click on the image, it makes it pop up large like this without lightbox enabled. When you click on it, it just shows a central image as the same size that it is. Obviously save changes if you've made any changes. Then I'm going to move on to inventory. You have an option here to enable stock management. This stops people from buying products that are out of stock, or if you've got one left, for example, and someone's in the process of checking out, it would stop someone else from purchasing that product, and then you wouldn't end up with 2 orders for the same thing and only having 1 product left. You can set low stock threshold warnings so that you're emailed by the website when your stock is running low, and whether you can hide an item whether it goes out of stock or not. I believe if you untick enable stock management here and save changes, it negates the option for managing stock on a product level. And then you have a downloadable product section. Whether you force downloads after purchase, and whether your download requires a login, or whether you grant access to the downloadable product immediately after payment, or via the email that the customer receives with a download link. The next video will contain information on the tax, checkout, shipping, accounts, emails, and the APIs.